Hi, I'm Kate Noble. I'm here at Shine Yoga in Cincinnati. And this practice is going to be a yoga for everybody practice. So multi-leveled, and pretty much everything that we're going to do today, you can do it in a chair if standing for an extended amount of time is challenging for you. If you can stand, I'm going to encourage you to do some standing work, just that will help build some strength and endurance, especially if you've been spending a lot of time inside or cooped up on your couch, that kind of thing. I want to remind you before we get started that nothing should ever hurt in your joints any more than what's normal for you. I understand that a lot of us are walking around with a little bit of pain. Just make sure that nothing that we do makes it worse. Everything that we're doing should make it feel better. And we always want to be working with a smooth, steady, even breath. And you want to make sure that you're not holding your breath. Make sure you don't feel dizzy or lightheaded. Sometimes taking our arms overhead or folding can change our blood pressure. So it's important that you're paying attention to how you feel in your breath and how you feel in your head. And if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, just stop. You can pause and wait for us to catch up with you, or modify it. And if you don't feel good after the video and it doesn't go away soon, make sure that you check and make sure that you're okay. All right, so I have just finished a little what I call Dharma talk. So it's about applying yoga philosophy to perspective of life. And if you're interested, you can find that on the YouTube channel. And that is why I have all the deities of Shine set up here. And in particular, I'm talking about Bhuvaneshwari today. And Bhuvaneshwari is a goddess, and she is associated with spaciousness. So not like outer space, but just the idea that in the material world, we do need space to help hold us all together as beings. And we also need space for new ideas and new concepts and new things, relationships, activities, objects, ideas to take root. I feel like a lot of what we'll find on online like fitness or yoga classes is quite contractile in nature. And so this practice is really about opening up and expanding. So there is an element of stretch, but we want to make sure that as we're stretching, we're not forcing any part of our body to do anything it's not really ready or comfortable to do. To really think about using the breath to be the thing, not to stretch you, but to open you up and to help you feel a sense of expansion. So that's what we'll work on today. All right, I'm going to stay standing, but you can certainly feel free to come take a seat if you want to we're going to do some breath work and some arm movements, so you can sit down for that if you like. Feel free to stand. And if you're standing, just make sure that your feet feel comfortable underneath you and that you're not locking out your knees. And then just take a breath in, and as you breathe in, stretch your arms, not just up, but also out. And then as you breathe out, let your arms come down, but think about just adding a little emphasis on the extension outward. So we're breathing in, and we're not just lifting the arms, but we're reaching, we're opening, and there is an element of stretch. And we just want to make sure, I'm going to reiterate often, that when we stretch, we're not creating more tension, that we're not aggressive, that we're not forceful on the body. We're kind of feeling for where our previous tight edges might have been, and then we're just working to expand and open them up a little bit. The next time your arms come down, let them stay down and roll your shoulders from the front to the back. Feel into your breath, make sure that you're still breathing smooth and well, and make sure that you have not locked out your knees. So let your knees be a little soft. And as you're mobilizing your shoulders, so a big part of what we're working on here is mobilizing our joints, try to get your shoulder blades moving. So when you think of your shoulder, you don't just think of the front, you think of the back and the top as well. Go, let your arms relax down, and then just gently move your head from side to side. Just nice and easy. And often in our yoga practice, we are looking to coordinate breath and movement, but that doesn't have to happen any specific way, as long as you're cultivating a sense of inner rhythm. Good. And then I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this one. Again, you can be standing or sitting. Put your hands at the base of your skull, and then point your elbows forward. And then take a breath and press into your base. So if you're sitting, it's your pelvis, and if you're standing, it's your feet. From your waist, push down, and then lift up, not just your front ribs, but your back ribs too. And then lift your head and your heart. And just take a nice breath here with the idea of opening your heart center. So your heart center is not just going to be the physical heart, but it's the area in and around the heart, in the front, the back, the sides, the tops, the bottom. Good. Relax your arms down. Okay, now if you're sitting, you're just going to simply hip hinge. So you want to come forward on the edge of your seat and lift tall through your spine, and then you'll hinge like this. If you're standing, you're going to squat and hinge. So you're going to let your knees bend, but let your hips slide back, and then stand tall. So if you're sitting, you're hinging forward and lifting back. And if you're standing, you're hinge, squatting, and standing back up. And we're going to do that a few times to get the hips lubricated. So we do have synovial fluid in the joints, and that's what helps to lubricate the joints and help them move smoothly. All right, let's just do one or two more. So you're either hinging in your seat or you're hinge squatting, standing up. This will be the last one. And then inhale, come all the way up tall, reach your arms up overhead. If you're sitting in the chair, put your hands behind your back on the chair. And if you're standing up, put your hands right on the back of your hip bones. And everyone hug your belly in, lift your heart up, make sure that you're breathing, and then curl back and think about using your breath to stretch your whole rib cage, to open up the space around your heart center. And as you breathe out, let it relax. And then just do that a couple times, that you're holding a static posture, but that you're using your breath to help your ribs have more space around your heart and lungs. Good, everyone relax. Okay, we're gonna all come up for chair dog if we can. So you'll put your hands on the back of your chair, walk your feet back, and just stretch your hips back as much as it feels good for you. You might feel a little tension in the back of your hamstrings. Make sure it doesn't hurt. If it hurts or if it hurts your low back, just softly bend your knees and stretch your body as long as you can. Take a deep breath there and think about using your breath to create length in your spine. Good, come standing tall. Okay, we're gonna take side angle pose. So you can do this 3 ways. 1, you can use the chair for support with your hand, so that's kind of middle. If you need the chair for support, you're gonna kind of straddle your chair. So you put one knee forward and then stretch the other leg out straight. So you have front knee is bent and back leg is straight. And then if you're still standing, to work on building leg strength, core strength, and balance, we'll take your left leg, so you'll be mirroring me. Turn your left foot outward, bend your left knee, bring your left elbow or your hand, that could also work, and stretch your arms straight up overhead. So if you're using the chair, you might just put your elbow on the chair. Whichever position that you've chosen, take a good, full, deep breath, and think about making space inside your body. So your inhale helps everything stretch out, and then when you breathe out, you relax and you release. Good, come up. Let's take the other side. So you'll turn your right foot outward. Your back foot, your left foot turns in a little bit. Bend your knee. Place your arm on the chair or the elbow, or maybe you're sitting, and reach your top arm up. Now think less about the posture that you're doing and more about the breath that you're using. And as you breathe in, see if you can let everything expand, create spaciousness. Remember that you're a cellular body, that you are actually more energy than you are matter, and we want to activate the energy inside the body. Good, come up. We're going to come back to that chair dog. If you're sitting and you don't want to keep coming up to standing, you can just do a simple forward lean like this. And as you lean forward, notice if you hunch And if you're hunching, try to stretch your heart forward. Wherever you are, take a good full deep breath there. Good, and then come upright. Okay, if you're in your chair, you're just gonna take one leg out to the side and the other knee will be bent forward. And when we do the posture, you're gonna lean over in the direction of your straight leg. Now, if you're using the chair to help you with balance, turn your left foot outward and put your left hand on the chair. Turn your back foot in slightly. This just helps to open up your lower back. So if the foot's turned out, the low back closes and the hips push forward, and that creates tension in your lower back. So you're gonna have that back foot turning in, you're gonna open up your lower back. Reach your top arm up, and then start to lean in until you feel a nice gentle stretch in your inner thigh. And if you're on the more flexible side and you want to start working your hand down lower, maybe it can come to the seat of your chair. Maybe it can come down to your shin, or maybe all the way to the floor. Take a good deep breath here and think about creating inner spaciousness. Open up to new possibilities of feeling into your body. You might have this sense of overcoming gravity. Good, inhale, come on up. And we'll take the other side. So you might just be turning around there in your room at home. So I don't turn my back to you, I'm gonna move my chair. Now we have your right foot turning outward and your left foot turning inward. Or if you're sitting in your chair, your right knee is bent and your left leg is out. And you can start to lean just as far as it feels good. Make sure that you don't have any discomfort in your knee. And if you do feel a little hyperextending the knee, just bend your knee a little bit. And then again, you can have the arm on the chair, maybe on the seat of the chair, maybe coming down to the shin or the floor. And then again, use your breath, open up, create inner spaciousness. Good, inhale, come standing up tall. And then we'll do our forward fold. So if you're sitting, you just do that forward lean. And if you're standing, you can do chair dog. If you're a fan of downward dog, you can take down dog. Okay, please come back to standing. And we're gonna do some arm mobilization, and then we're gonna move into our mobilization and squat to build a little bit of strength and energy in the body. So if you need to sit, you're just gonna sit, and you'll just do the upper body part. Okay, think about the idea of pivot points, right? So maybe you can imagine, if you think of your hips, your actual hip joint is on the side. So you also have the SI joint, which is back here. But this is where we have most of our mobility. So this is your femur bone, and then the head of your femur bone is called your greater trochanter. And if you imagine a line going straight through there, you can imagine you pivot forward and back. So I want you to have that sense of pivoting from your hip, not from your lower back. And then also a pivot from your shoulders. So when your arms go up and down, you're not using your spine or your head. So we're gonna try to keep the column, the core of the body, very tall and open and easy. And then with your thumbs pointing straight forward, inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, relax your arms down. And just notice what your spine and head and neck want to do. And if you find yourself arching when your arms go up, or your head jutting forward when your arms go up, try to keep the column of your body more still, so that you're just moving just right here at the shoulder joint. All right, so we're gonna do a few more of those. And in this way, we're mobilizing the shoulder joint. We're working the muscles a little bit. You might feel your breath elevating. Make sure that it's not too much. Make sure your blood pressure feels good with your arms going overhead and back down. We're just gonna do one more, and then roll your shoulders out a little bit. And then let's mobilize our wrists simply by circling your wrists and wiggling your fingers. So think about your joints where the bones meet. We can get compression in the joints, and then we have pain. So as you're moving, see if you can have a sense of trying to open up your joints. So really stretch through your wrist, and remember that you have more than just one hand bone for each finger. You've got little bones in the hand. So think about stretching the fingers, the knuckles, the hand. Really exaggerate the movement. Okay, good. And then one more time, just a quick little shoulder roll. All right, now we're gonna combo our hip hinge and our arm reach. So you can just be sitting and just work the arm part if you don't feel comfortable standing and hip hinging. So for the hip hinge, bring your feet to a comfortable distance apart, knees pointing straight forward. Hug your belly in just a little bit, not so much that you can't breathe well, but so that when we squat, you don't collapse. So the belly is gently toned. And then you're gonna inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, hip hinge, reach your arms forward. We'll do that a couple times. So now we're moving energy through the body. This movement will move the lymph, which is a big part of your immune system. So the lymph carries the white blood cells to all the places that need fighting. And then it also moves all the old viruses and bacteria, and also just your natural metabolic waste back through your digestive and elimination systems. So just this kind of simple movement's really good for your immunity as well as for your joints. So when I think about moving energy through the body to help bring a sense of clearing things out. This will be our last one. If your breath moved up a little bit, that's a good thing. Relax your arms down, roll out your shoulders. Okay, super simple. You can be sitting or standing. Just stretch your arms out wide. Now pay attention to where your hands went and what your shoulders did. So if we reach super wide and my hands are back, my shoulders go forward, I have opened my chest, but I'm also contracting the back. So just notice that. So you're reaching your arms as wide as it feels comfortable. Let yourself arch, lift your chin gently, but keep your neck long. And then give yourself a hug and see if you can cross one elbow over the other and with your hands grab your shoulders. And then contract the front, pulling through the front so you can kind of curl in, but you can also round a little bit and let your head relax down as long as that feels okay in your body. And contract the front, but feel the way you're opening your back. So we pull back in one area and we open up in another area. Inhale, open up, lift your heart, reach your arms super wide, feel your front body stretch open, feel the chest broaden, and also feel your back strengthen, feel it contract. And then give yourself a good hug, other arm on top, and curl in. Let your head relax down as long as that feels okay for you. If you have neck issues, it might not feel good to let your head go down, so you don't have to force that. Good deep breath into your back body. Good, inhale, come up, reach your arms up overhead, and exhale, relax your hands down. Okay, if you're comfortable standing with the support of the chair, we're gonna work on balance. If you are not comfortable standing on one foot, you're going to work on quadricep strength, so it's strength in the tops of your legs. Sit in the chair in the way that you feel comfortable without slouching. So if you sit and you naturally slouch a little bit, which is quite normal, then I want you to slide your hips forward and lean your shoulders back. So you're a little bit reclined, but now you're not rounded. Your spine is more neutral, so just press your shoulders back. And then all you're gonna do is one leg at a time, lift your leg and stretch it out straight. So you can do that a few times, as many times as feels good for you. If you're comfortable to work on standing balance, use the wall or put your hands on a chair, stand on your right leg, and we're taking stork pose where you just simply lift your foot up off the floor with your knee bent. Now, when most of us bend the knee, our lower back arches a little bit. I'm exaggerating now, but that's pretty normal. So you're gonna try to hug your belly back without hunching your shoulders. So So you're gonna hug your belly back, but also hug your shoulders back. And if your balance lets you, lift one arm up, maybe the other arm up, and hover, hold. Good, let's do the other side. So standing on your left foot, bend your right knee. Think about neutralizing your pelvis. And then maybe reach one arm up, maybe reach both arms up. Try to keep your belly strong. Stay connected to your easy breath. Good, and release. Okay, we're gonna do our forward fold. So if you're sitting, you just put your knees together and you lean. You can do chair dog. You can also do downward dog. We're gonna meet standing together. And we're all gonna do this quadricep stretch sitting down. So you're gonna sit on the edge of your chair and you're gonna straddle it. So this is my left leg, it's your right leg. If you wanna kind of mirror me, you're gonna put your right leg, so your right leg is off to the side of the chair. And then you're gonna turn your back knee down to the floor. Now, again, the knee is starting to work behind the body. So for most people, we start to get an arch here. So you're gonna hug your belly back and scoop your tailbone down. If it works in your body, reach both arms up overhead. Take a good deep breath there. And if you feel like you need more stretch, like if you feel that working, you don't need more. But if you don't feel much happening and you know you want to stretch this part of your leg, you might reach down for your pant leg or bend your foot and grab your ankle. Hold on onto the back of the chair and then start to point your knee downward to the floor without arching. Now, there's a lot of contraction happening in your back body. So breathe in and think about lifting up through your heart and open your chest and let your left shoulder curl back instead of collapsing forward. So lift, make space in your heart. Good, release and switch sides. So again, your left leg is going out sideways from the chair and you're turning your left knee downward. Hold the back of the chair so you feel steady. Hug your belly back with your tailbone down. Maybe stretch one arm, maybe stretch both arms. This is very likely where a lot of you will remain, but if you want more, hug the back of the chair again, reach down for your hand for your pant leg, or lift your foot up, grab the ankle, and point your knee down. Think about making space around your heart. Open your heart to possibility, to newness, letting go of the old to make space for the new. Good, deep breath there. And release. Okay, if you are a more active practitioner and you love standing forward fold, you can do a standing forward fold. Most of us are going to do this one in the chair. So you're going to sit on the very edge and take your right leg forward straight while you keep the left knee bent. And then cross your arms and lift up. Make space around your heart, make space in your spine. Think about the way that your joints of your spine get pressed together. Activate your spine. Press down through your hips and lift up through your heart. And then you're gonna hinge from your hip. Remember, it's a hinge, not a fold from your lower back. You can even hear my voice change. If you're listening closely, there's like it shuts down when the back rounds like this. So keep reaching forward. Your forearms can rest on your knee. If you feel more flexible, if you feel like it would feel good and your chair is steady, you can reach down for your hand to your foot. Just watch that you're not hunching in. We want to keep space around the heart and through the spine. Now, if your left hand is down near your shin or your foot, you can keep it there. I'm going to bring mine up just to show this one. So the left elbow might be on the left knee, and then we're going to gently twist. So you're just looking over your right shoulder. Think about, let's bring your hand to your heart actually. Breathe in, create length in your spine, have a sense of opening up your heart, and then start to reach back first with your elbow and then your hand, and stretch from your heart Think about the channel of energy that flows from your heart through your arm and reach it not just in the front, but also in the back. Think about opening up your elbow joint, your wrist joint, your fingers. Turn your head only if that feels okay in your body, and release. Good job. Do the other side. So your left leg is going forward, your right knee is bent. You're lifting tall, and then hip hinging. And your elbows might rest on your bent knee. And only if it feels good in your body, you might reach a little lower, but remember you're hinging from the hip and keeping your spine long. Take a couple of good deep breaths here. And then you can keep the hand low if it's low, or you can bring your elbow back to your knee, bring your left hand to your heart. Start to rotate open. And then press your shoulder blade back, and then reach through the arm. So you want to make sure you don't feel pinching behind your shoulder blade. Make sure you feel a sense of openness in this whole, your carpal tunnel is in your wrist, but that channel of energy flows all the way through your heart. So you want to keep your shoulder open in the front and the back. And if it feels okay, turn your head, look up. Good, release. We're gonna go for both legs straight, but you gotta make sure your chair is real sturdy. So if your chair is wobbly, see, mine's a little wobbly, but I'm gonna push my hips way back, lift up through your spine, and then just hinge as far forward as it feels good for you. You can keep your toes lifting up, or if they'll come to the ground, you can let them relax to the ground. And then make sure again that your spine is long. So if you let yourself slump, then all the vertebrae push down on each other and on your discs and nerves, and that can cause pain and back disorders, honestly. So I'm gonna really think about keeping space in your spine and space around your heart as you fold forward. Okay, come up. We're gonna take now our hips all the way to the edge of the chair and lean back, so you have that long spine, not collapsed spine, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then you're gonna try to sit up straight from the hips. So again, not slouchy, sit way up. If your body allows it for you, stretch your arms over your head and focus on creating upward expansion of space. So think of the way gravity is pulling us down all the time, and we wanna counter that pull of gravity. Think about opening your heart, your lungs, even the idea of expanding your mind to new possibilities. Now, you can stay here. You can bring your arms back to the chair if you feel a hip stretch happening already. If you don't feel much happening, hinge from your hip. If you collapse, you're not going to feel it so much in your hip. So you really have to think about moving energy up through the spine and forward through the heart and the head. And then you can fold as far as it feels good. Make sure you don't have any knee pain in this one. This can aggravate your knees. And take a couple of good deep breaths here. Good, come up. We'll take that whole series on the other side. You're crossing left ankle over the right knee. Phase one is that we're just sitting up tall. If you're really tight, you might need to stay back here. That's okay. Stay here and breathe nice and deep and full. You shouldn't feel any knee pain or any low back pain more than what's normal for you. If you feel okay, you can reach your arms up overhead, and this will help you build core strength, and it will also help you open your shoulder girdle. Focusing on stretching the spine tall and long, taking the pressure off your nerves. And then you can choose to bring your hands behind you and just sit up straight, or you can do the hip hinge. And a couple breaths here. Think about really taking the time to receive the breath fully. And then when you breathe out, to think about giving back generously. That every inhale is borrowed from our environment. So receive with gratitude and give back graciously. Okay, come on up. We're gonna stay sitting unless you really want to challenge your balance. So we're going to do some ankle rolling just to work on the ankles and toes. And if you wanted to, you could stand up and do it like this. I'm going to stay sitting for this one. So now I want you to please sit all the way back in your chair and then just stretch your right leg forward and circle your ankle and wiggle your toes. And then we'll do the other side. Circling ankle and wiggling toes. Good. And then I'm going to come back to mirroring you, so I'm going to try to make it, it'll look like you're looking in a mirror. We're going to sit up very tall in the back of our seat. Think about where your initial soft spot was when you were an infant. There's still a little remnant of it. And think about stretching that straight up to the heavens. And imagine a line of energy from the core of your pelvis that moves straight up through the midline of your body. And there's a little opening there so that heaven energy can flow down and into you, and earth energy can flow up through you. And you become the vessel for both of that, earth and heaven energy, spirit energy, soul energy, whatever you might want to call it. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Let your eyes close. Let your feet relax. So I'm a shorty, so my feet aren't all the way on the floor. I'm just going to kind of let them hang. If you have longer limbs, really let your legs feel very grounded. And as you breathe in now, use your breath to create a sense of inner spaciousness and encourage a sense of inner lightness with the inhale. And then when you breathe out, have a sense of clearing out the old energy, but keeping that sense of spaciousness. So inhale, you expand and you fill up. And then breathing out, you let go, but there's still an element of inner spaciousness. Feel the way that your body is structured so that you have support. And see if you can have a sense of relaxing a little bit more into the moment. Relaxing into the rhythm and flow of life, even with its ups and downs, its dark spots and bright spots. Feeling a sense of resiliency and adaptability within yourself. Good, relax your hands down. If you ended up crouching down at all, stretch back up tall and then move your right ear towards your right shoulder. Keep the left shoulder back, so just make sure the shoulder doesn't collapse forward. It doesn't have to be exaggerated, just a nice lengthening for the left side of your neck. And then let your chin drop down towards your right collarbone. And then lift your head up and go the other side. Left ear over the left shoulder. The right shoulder stays back and down gently. Remember, no forcing. And use your breath to help any tension that lives here just start to soften. So we don't stretch it and it goes away. We take our time and let it kind of dissolve over time. And then drop your chin down towards your left collarbone. Keep your heart elevated. Have a sense of the heart being light and buoyant. That there is energetic space inside you that supports you. You might think of the space inside the cell walls. And then lift your head up and look over your left shoulder, and then look over your right shoulder. And do that a couple times, and think about the idea of maybe expanding your range of motion. And as you're looking over shoulder to shoulder, make sure that you're not using your waist to help you turn your head, that you're isolating the movement in your neck, even if it's smaller movement than you think it should be. It's okay that it's small movement. And we're just, again, this idea of mobilizing, creating space in the joints, And over time, increasing our range of motion. We don't have to rush. We don't have to force. And then you're gonna do little crescents where you drop one ear to the shoulder and then your chin comes down through the middle and you go to the other side. So a couple more times like that. Okay. Now in the very beginning of the practice, we put our hands behind our head. We're gonna do that again. You might want to come forward on the edge of your chair if that helps you sit up a little straighter. Now we're going to stretch the back of the neck, but we don't want to collapse the back of the heart. So you want to push down into your waist, into your hips, but you also want to lift up through your ribs and your spine and all the way through your skull to the crown of your head. And then you're going to push your jaw back, and then your chin goes down but not forward. So you've got to keep your back strong here, and you're pressing your chin down. If you try to make as many double chins as you can, you're on the right track. So the jaw is drawing back, and the chin is pressing down, and then the back of the neck can lengthen. Take a good deep breath into the back of your heart. Good. Relax your arms down. Just roll your shoulders however feels best for you. Move your arms, your wrists, your fingers, your head. Again, having that sense of joint mobility, creating space in the joints, ease in the joints. Maybe rock a little bit through your waist. Now rotate a little bit through your waist. Just nice and easy, gentle and natural. And we're going to finish with a sitting meditation in your chair. So cuddle your hips way back to the back edge of your chair. As much as they're able to, let your feet rest to the ground or let them hang, so you just let your thighs get heavy on your seat. Place your hands in your lap in whatever way feels good for you. So you can just have hands down on your thighs. This is called Dianna Mudra, where one hand creates a cup for the other and then your thumbs touch. I like this one a lot. It just feels natural for me. You could do Anjali Mudra, your hands together in front of your heart, or you could do heart, hands on body again. If you've been feeling a lack of touch, if you're, we're in this middle of social distancing right now, that your body, your physiology, your skin and your nerve endings and all your tissues, they appreciate connection. So if you're missing that, you can take this opportunity to give that to yourself. And then let your eyes close. And as much as you can, let your body soften without collapsing. So there might be a little bit of effort required to keep your spine tall and your shoulders and your head placed in line with your heart. Make sure that there's not excess effort. So just as much energy is needed to keep your heart and your head lifted up. And then use your breath to create a sense of inner expanding space. So when you breathe in, if you breathe in fully, your diaphragm will press down, your abdominal organs will push out a little bit. There'll even be a little pressure into your pelvic floor and your sitting bones. And then when you breathe out, that all eases up a little bit. The energy pulls in and up. So breathing in, you're grounding down, and maybe you can even have a sense of breathing into your lower back and your hips and your side waist. And with the exhale, again, then it's just a lightening and easing, but you remain grounded because of the structure of your bones, of your body. You acknowledge this physical nature. You feel your flesh and bone. And you also feel that ethereal quality when you pay attention to your breath. So that maybe you can honor the miracle that it is to breathe, that's a gift. And let us savor it. Let us appreciate each breath that we have. And as you're breathing in, you're feeling that sense of grounding. Now also let there be a sense of rising up into the dome of your rib cage and even up into the dome of your skull. So when you breathe in, there's a grounding and a rising. There's a filling. There's a receiving of prana, of life force energy. And then when we breathe out, it is a generous giving back. As you breathe in, see if you can have a sense of everything opening up. Your physical body, your heart, your mind. And then when you breathe out, there is that subtle softening back into your physical self. Breathing in new energy. And breathing out, making space as you release the old. So we're making space on the inhale, but we're also making space for the new on the exhale, clearing the old out. Desikachar is a great yoga teacher, one of the early modern physical teachers, and he calls this, pent-up energy rubbish. We can have rubbish from our negative thoughts. We have rubbish left over from bad relationships or experiences. We can have rubbish because of what we consume. So breathing in, receiving the new, making space with the inhale, and also making space as you let go of the rubbish, clearing out. And then as you're breathing in and you're bringing the new energy in, maybe you can think about a quality that will feel helpful and supportive for you at this time in your life. I often think about curiosity. Let me be curious so I can see how I can make the best of this situation. Maybe you need hope, maybe you need resiliency, maybe you need strength, maybe you need softness. Breathe in the quality that you know will support you at this time. And then as you breathe out, let go of the old energy. Acknowledge the way that nature recycles herself. Let go of the old to make space for the new. Allow yourself to feel a sense of peace in that rhythm of life, of give and take, of creation and then of renewal. In that renewal, there is an element of letting go to make space for the new. Maybe it's ideas, maybe it's habits, maybe it's something more tangible. At this time, please do bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly if you're not already in that position. Let your eyes gently open up. And just have a sense of your spirit, spark of life within you, the soul inside. And as you feel the warmth or coolness of your hands on your body, have a sense of feeling a good relationship between this kind of inner spirit and your outer physical form. And know that while I'm not physically with you, I am sending loving energy out there to anybody that needs it today. It's April 30th, 2020. This is a hard time for a lot of us. And just want to acknowledge that, but also to acknowledge the possibilities that are here as our society will have to renew itself in new ways. So thinking about the vision that you have and you hold for that renewal, the hope that you have, the courage, the creativity, the curiosity, the love, the compassion, whatever it is. Please bring your hands together in front of your heart and just imagine the energy that you want to share with the world, and think about gathering it up in your hands. This is a practice that I learned from one of my teachers, Sienna Sherman, so I want to acknowledge her here and to thank her for this practice. And in a moment, we're going to open our hands and we're going to blow out, and we blow out the old energy within ourselves. We're also blowing ahead that positive energy. And since it's in the digital world, we don't have to worry about sharing any germs. So big, full, deep breaths here. Breathe in through your nose and then release. And we'll end this practice here today. Namaste. I hope that you're well wherever you are. If things are low, I hope that they look brighter soon. If you're watching this video on YouTube as a free offering, I want to acknowledge that we're offering our videos in reciprocity. So if you would like to make a donation to the studio to help support us in this time that we're closed, we would greatly appreciate that. But we're also happy to share. And we know that this is a hard time for a lot of people, so there's no need. If you need it, you take it, and if you can give, you give. If you need to know how to make a donation, you can just visit our website and find out more about our studio there too. It's www.shineyoga.com.
All right, everyone, take good care.